Hey everybody, welcome back to Daytime. With us now is Rita Mustafa. She's a holistic nutritionist and registered acupuncturist. And most importantly, she is the person today who is going to diagnose Jacqueline for her something. We're not sure what it is, but I'm sure we're going to discover something.
Yeah.
Rita, before we get into the actual machine, technology has come a long way. When people see this machine, are they intimidated by it? Do they question it? What's the first reaction?
I think a lot of people are curious as to what it's going to show and what it's going to do. I don't think intimidation is really a part of it because it's about learning about yourself.
Right.
The more you know,
the
better, right?
That's right.
And so this, I mean, you personally, going back several years ago, the reason why you got into this this field is because you yourself had major issues.
Yeah.
I had chronic sinus issues, sinus infections, ear infections, and it was just this chronic thing. Always on medications, always on, something for the headache that went with it, and until I found out that wheat and dairy were my two main foods that contributed to it. Once I stopped it, worked with a naturopath at the time. It's been years, 12, 13 years since I've had any issues with my sinuses.
And you feel amazing?
I feel amazing, yeah.
But, I mean, wheat and dairy, it seems like these are becoming the common allergies that people were just not even aware of 10 years ago. Today, we're going to test Jacqueline for which? Wheat intolerance?
So we'll test wheat, dairy, whatever comes up.
Good.
Okay. And so tell us about this machine, the software, and what it does.
Okay, so this technology is called electrodermal screening, and also known as EDS. And basically what this test does is basically we'll test energy at different acupuncture points on the hands and on the feet. Now, being an acupuncturist, I can pretty much test any acupuncture point on the body, but just to keep it simple, we just do hands and feet just to keep it simple so people don't have to disrobe and things like that.
Okay. And so here's my hand. We're going to do it with the hand, right?
Yep. So basically, it involves creating a circuit. So I need you to hold this with one.
Yep.
Your
So your
left
electricity
hand.
running through the one hand.
A current, a small current.
I can't feel anything.
Yeah.
Good.
If anybody's wondering if it hurts, no.
And on the screen, you'll see a picture of a hand, and right now it's set to the large intestine point. So I'm going to take your hand
The other hand, yep.
And so now we're completing a circuit. So she's holding one end, I'm holding the other end, and this is the large intestine point. So now when we do a reading, what we're looking for is for the reading actually to go into a certain area of the screen.
Which is actually this green line, right?
That's right.
So if we have it within this green line, that means?
We say it's balanced. So it's not something I need to focus on at this time. So if the reading is below the bar or above it, if it goes below, then we say there's a weakness in there.
Yeah.
So then I can continue on and go a little bit further and kind of figure out, okay, why is there a weakness? Do you need a probiotic? Do you need enzymes? What is it that is making?
You can literally test and it'll give you the answer.
Yes.
It says here that for the large intestine, I'm below.
You're a little bit of weakness in the large intestine.
Little bit of weakness.
So,
One?
No, that would be the liver.
Oh,
Don't test my liver.
so then I can continue on. So I'm just out of curiosity, let's test to see if a probiotic would help make the large intestine a little bit stronger.
Okay.
So when we test this particular probiotic, might need more water. So that brings you into the green.
It's like the OLG. I'm like waiting for the gagnon.
You win.
So basically, you first find the area of the body.
Yeah, where the imbalance is.
And then you can test further. So this said that a probiotic would actually...
A probiotic would make your large
me.
intestine stronger.
Okay.
Right? So you would benefit from that. So now I can go further. So in the office, obviously, I would do about 40 different points because it's not just one thing that's out of balance. It's usually a combination of things.
Okay.
So, and we're just going to test for foods now.
The food is really interesting because if you've been someone like me who eats everything and thinks they don't have a problem, you might not know you have a problem
until that's right.
Yeah, until you investigate it.
Yeah. So let's go into the dairy category.
Dairy is a big one for a lot of people.
So when I'm testing, the first product was albumin, and that's actually a protein in dairy product. So that came, again, below, so that tells me that's...
Slight intolerance?
Yeah, it's weakening. It's weakening to your system.
Okay.
Right, so I can continue on in the whole dairy category. So now we're at Butter, again, that's low. So let's go. So this is usually
Butter.
cow. So let's go to like a goat's cheese and
Okay.
see if maybe you're a little bit better with goat cheese.
Negative.
No, stay away from goat cheese, Jacqueline.
So you can't even have tacos with cheese on it anymore.
Well, that's where, you know, working with somebody would come in, because
Yeah.
Yeah.
we can work on alternatives, right? Finding alternatives for you.
What are the telltale symptoms, though, that you should be coming in and seeing someone like you?
Yeah.
You know, the symptoms vary. Like, everybody will come in with different signs and symptoms, and usually it all relates back to a certain food. Not necessarily always wheat and
Yeah.
dairy, but, you know, constipation. I see a lot of people with eczema, like skin type issues, people with respiratory issues like asthma. What else do I see? Aches and pains,
What about
arthritis.
lethargicness? Just flat out being tired all the time?
Absolutely. So candida could be an issue, right? So too much yeast in the body's creating too much yeast, so the body gets fatigued, and that's one of the signs. So again, that's something that I can look for while I'm doing the testing.
So is it safe to say that two people, let's say Jeff and I both have a
Yeah.
dairy intolerance, he might be experiencing one symptom and I could have a totally different one.
right.
So I
And-
might have a skin issue and he might have a respiratory.
Exactly, and that's why a sensitivity is different than an allergy.
Ah, very interesting. Well, you're going to be back after our little chat
Yep.
here. Maybe we could talk about the difference between an allergy, a
maybe
sensitivity,
this book.
and the book, which could be quite helpful to lots of our viewers. Thanks so much, Rita. We'll be right back with lots more on the show. Stay where you are. Welcome back, everybody. Rita Mustafa is here. She is the author of Wheat-Free, Dairy-Free Recipes, and she's here to talk about food sensitivities, allergies, what to stay away from. I guess it's safe to say every person is a unique case.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about the difference between allergies and sensitivities.
So an allergy, you pretty much will know if you have an allergy. If you eat
Sure.
shellfish or eat, you know, peanuts or something, and you can't breathe or end up with a rash or, you know, shortness of breath, you pretty much know you have an allergy to something. So your immune system is kicking in right away. Whereas with a sensitivity, it can involve the immune system, but we call it a delayed immune reaction. So you could have, let's say, dairy today, have a piece of cheese, and maybe notice that you get your skin issues get worse 2 or 3 days later. So.
Okay.
So you don't necessarily connect the two because
Yeah.
it's been so long. So how many things have you eaten in the past 2-3
Right.
days? So it's hard to connect. And that's why the food sensitivity testing comes in handy, because it will give us an idea of what foods it is that's contributing to it.
Yeah.
Do people still do elimination diets where they just say, okay, I'm going to stop eating dairy for a prolonged amount of time and stop with wheat? Does that still come into play ever?
I still use that with some people, especially with kids sometimes, because they're too hard to test, or if they're too young. You know, we do an elimination test, and it's about for a month, right?
Yeah.
But then once you start to reintroduce those foods, it's almost instantaneous that your body will let you know that that food is not for you.
Right.
We reset every 7 years. I've read the articles about your body. So there's an opportunity that if you were not sensitive to something before, you very well could be now, and you're not realizing the signs, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. So some people grow out of an allergy per se. Some people develop sensitivities or allergies later on in life. It really just depends on the immune system, what's happening with inside the body, you know, stresses.
We've also talked about how having a sensitivity can, you know, have a negative impact on the way your body functions. Could it also lead to other things such as weight gain?
Absolutely. So and I see this a lot with individuals that have sensitivities to foods, especially like an immune reaction. They end up with inflammation. So I've had people with inflammation for years. And when they have inflammation in their body, the last thing their body's interested in is helping them lose weight. Right?
Yeah.
So the inflammation is going on, it's busy, and you know, losing weight's the last thing that it wants to do. It has other things to focus on at this
It's got a
point.
traffic jam inside the belly.
Oh, yeah,
It's diverting
yeah.
all the attention.
Wow, perfect.
For a lot of people who do suffer from wheat intolerance and other type of allergies, they feel like they can't eat really delicious food because we're so used to sort of the other things that we put into food. You have a book out that sort of not only makes people eat deliciously, but also healthy for their sensitivities.
Exactly. Yeah. So, you know, I've been we've talked about wheat and dairy for me being an issue, having chronic sinus issues and ear infections and things like that. And, you know, and so I sort of adapted my life. So, I mean, for me, wheat and dairy, I don't even think about them anymore. Like, to me, I'm perfectly happy eating wheat-free, dairy-free, and there's so much that you can eat, and it's good food.
You don't miss it.
I don't miss it at all.
No.
No.
And you feel amazing and you look amazing. You can see it in your skin for sure. You have some top of the kind of major offenders for sensitivities right now. Let's take a look.
I see some of the stuff that I eat.
I know. Jeff and I eat all of it.
Yeah. Well, obviously wheat and dairy being the top two. And wheat can sometimes be just the wheat, and wheat can sometimes mean gluten also. So unless you get tested, it's hard to know. But definitely wheat and dairy are the top two. Peanuts is also another one, which is not only an allergy, but can also be a sensitivity.
It seems like it's on the rise. Everywhere I go, there's a peanut allergy in a school or something along those lines.
Or nuts in general.
Yeah.
And nuts, yes.
Yeah.
Nuts are becoming more of an issue. So people are reacting to the proteins in these foods. So whether it's because, I don't know if they're just being modified too much, or whether, who knows, a processing aspect of it, it's hard to say, but a lot more people are developing sensitivities to just common foods, common everyday foods.
Another one of those? Eggs.
Eggs is becoming more of an issue. My next cookbook actually is egg-free, just because of all the clients that have been coming in with egg sensitivities.
Wow.
So,
egg seems like such a natural thing to eat, right?
Exactly. So it's not always bad food that's causing the issues. It could be, you know, things that you would think are very healthy and good for you, right?
Yeah.
So
soon we're just going to be on a diet of wheatgrass, and that's it. No one's going to be able to eat any food anymore.
Just green smoothies.
You have almond milk, it looks like, over there. Is that a good supplement, or something that people have sensitivities to as well?
So those who have sensitivities to dairy products, there's lots of alternatives. So almond milk is one one thing that you can try. Rice milk is another one. There's hemp milk. There's oat milk. There's so many different types of milk on the shelves these days. And so, you know, you don't necessarily have to go without your cereal and milk in the morning. It's just going to be different cereal with different kind of milk.
Oh, right. So, and once you have those substitutions down, I mean, they're very readily available in your major grocery stores now, which is nice.
Most grocery stores will carry things like almond milk and rice milk, even in the refrigerated section of the stores. So not hard to find at all.
When can you start looking into this? I mean, is it ever too late? And do you start as early as childhood?
It really just depends on symptoms, right? If your symptoms, you know, I've had people come in with head to toe eczema and like on their face too, and you know, and that's waiting years to come in to see me. So if you start when it's, you know, just developing, it'll be a lot easier than to wait, you know, 2-3 years later where the immune system is really in, like, you know, full reaction.
In trouble, yeah.
So if you're watching right now and you're thinking, you know what, darn it, I'm suffering from something, I feel like it's a food sensitivity, what's the consultation period like, and how do they get to work with you?
So consultation, the first visit's about an hour. And we'll do the testing, I'll go through an intake, get a health history form, and we go from there.
I love that. Then you're on your way to a healthier life, for sure. Thanks so much, Rita.
Thank you.
Don't forget, everybody, you can go to our website, rogerstv.com, for all the information of any of the guests that you've seen here today on the show. We'll be right back, and we're heading over to the Daytime Kitchen.